Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to do Tracer's Dash. So in Overwatch there is this character named Tracer, and you probably know her because she's pretty popular and all that stuff. So she has a power up that lets her to be very mobile by dashing through the world space. So it's pretty much like the blink from Dishonored, but it's not the same thing. So let's start creating it. This time I'm going to do it live on camera. And the only thing I have here is a timeline and a set field of view for a camera. Because I have tested this out before the video, so I know what would be the perfect value for the timeline. So here you have, if you are going to follow me, you have the first keyframe for time 0 and value 90. Remember, this value from here, the first and the last value, should be the value of the camera field of view, so the default field of view. And then I have the second keyframe, 0.04 with the value of 120, and the last one, the time would be 0.008, and the value would be 90 degrees. So once again, the first one and the last one should be the same. Okay, so let's begin. First, what we need to do is to get an input action mapping, but I don't have one, or I don't think I have one. So let's go to edit and project settings, and let's go to input. Okay, so I already have one. Mine is called the tracer, and it is binded to left shift. Remember, you can change the names and the bindings to whatever you need. So what we need to do here is to type here the name of the input action. So mine is tracer, so I'm going to type here tracer, and I'm going to see here under input and action event our input action. Okay, so what we need to do here is that we need to get out of tracer, we need to do a branch. So actually no, we are going to do this a little bit later in the video. So what we need to do here is to get our launch character, which is going to launch our character in wherever our character is pointing, so wherever our character's front vector is at. So in order to get that, what we need to do is to get our camera, and from there get forward vector. So it's basically like the line trace. We are going to set where the line trace we want to be. So getting the forward vector is going to get the center of our screen, and it is going to be set to be on that direction. Okay, now we want to multiply this by a float value, because if it would be to plug this into the launch velocity, it is going to be a really small amount. As you can see, we are not even going to be launched. It is going to be a little, let's say, starter with the screen, but that's it. So we need to multiply this with a float. So plug this back in here, and let's say we need a big amount, so let's say to 20,000, and then plug that into the launch velocity. So let's check if this is working. Okay, so as you can see, it is working, but if you are going to launch our character in the air, it is going to fly, which is not what we want. So we need to stop our character after some seconds, and by seconds I mean 0.04 seconds. So let's grab here a delay and set the delay to be 0.04, or let's say 0.05. And then what we need to do is to get our character movement in the event graph and get out of here stop movement immediately. So this way we are going to just stop everything from happening around our character, and by everything I'm talking about character movement. So now I'm going to press my key, and we are going to just dash, and we are going to stop at some point, as you can see. So I can do it pretty well. So now let's connect our line trace and the field of view as well. So let me explain you what this is going to do. We are going to play a timeline, which is going to be basically, we are going to come from the second 0 to 0.10 right here. Even that's a little bit too much, so let's put this to 0.08. So it is going to fit perfectly. So what we are going to do is that we are going to update the field of view of our camera based on, here you can see this thin line, based on the value of that thin line, because here we have 90 and here we have 120. That means that somewhere at the middle of it, it's, let's say, what is it? It's somewhere about 100 or so, 105. So when it's going to reach the middle, it's going to be 105, and we are going to update this for literally every millisecond or whatever. So let's check the effect right now. Okay, so it's a little bit too bad, and that is because we need to do something else right here. We need to do here a sequence. So we are going to play this at the start and not after the delay. So unplug this from here, grab it and move it here, and plug this, plug the then one into play from start, and let's check it now. So as you can see, it's looking pretty nice, but in Overwatch you have a limit of dashing through the air, that is 3. So let's try to create that as well. So I'm going to grab this and move it a little bit further away from the sequence, and this I'm going to do this for this the same thing. So let's create a variable. I'm going to call these charges, even it might not really be a charge, and I'm going to make this an integer, and I'm going to set the default value to be 3, and I'm going to create one more variable, and that is going to be can dash, and I'm going to rename the charges variable to be dashes. Okay, so make the can dash be a boolean, and here before the sequence we want to do a branch. We want to check if we can actually dash. I'm not really going to use this variable, but this is good for making conditions. So let's say if you're stuck or you're CC'd, then you should not be able to use the dash. Okay, so in order to tell you why this is good, because in Overwatch there are some characters that can impair your movement. So let's say you have Junkrat, which is going to put a trap on the ground, which is going to make you stay in place. So this is why you want to have this condition right here. Okay, and then what we need to do is that we need to do another branch. So plug another branch in here and plug that into a true. Then if the condition is going to be true, we are going to plug that into the sequence. And now we need to check if our dashes is greater than 0. If that is true, then we are going to execute this and this. And after we are going to stop our movement immediately, we want to subtract from the dash only 1. So what we can use here is increment, actually decrement. So just type here decrement integer, plug this in here. And if you don't know what increment is and decrement is, you can read here. So subtract 1 from the specific value, then set it. So it's basically like getting your variable, so setting your variable, getting your variable, integer minus integer, and then setting it here. But this is going to make it a little bit easier. I think you can even watch it, yeah, so you can even see it by double clicking it, how it's done. So if you want to see more of this, you can do that for yourself. Alright, so what we need to do here, after we have did the increment or the decrement from here, we need to add another delay. So let's say a delay of 3 seconds. Then what we need to do is that we need to increment this. So increment. So this is the same thing like the decrement, but it's going to add 1, not subtract 1. Alright, but first we need to do a branch. We need to check if our value is bigger, or if it's bigger or equal to 3. So if it's bigger or equal to 3, then we should not do that. So we are not going to plug this with true, we are going to plug that with false. So let's check if it is going to work. But for this, we are going to need an event tick, so we can check the variable value. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my dash variable into the event graph, and I'm going to get here a print string, but I can't do that from the variable, so I'm going to do it right here. Okay, so don't drag out of here, only if you have context sensitive, so then you could do this. Okay, then I'm going to plug the event tick into the print string, and I'm going to expand this and set the duration to be 0. Alright, so let's check. So as you can see in the top left corner, the variable, the value of the variable is 3. I'm going to dash it. Okay, so I can't dash, that means I've done something wrong here. So if our dash is bigger, okay, that is because I didn't set the default value of can dash to be true. Alright, so now it's going to be 2, now it's going to be 1, now it's going to be 1 once again, because the delay was completed and it was incremented to the dashes variable. So if I'm going to press these really fast, so 1, 2, 3, I can't dash anymore because the variable is going to be 0. Now I can dash once again, and now I have to wait. I can dash once again, and this is the effect that we wanted. So yeah guys, this is pretty much all for this tutorial. I hope that you liked this tutorial and that you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you have learned something new from it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I want to ask you something before I'm going to end this video. So I've started using OBS with this video, and I want to know if the quality is better or anything like that. And guys, until next time, goodbye.